On the third live stream, he closed $1.2 million
What?
in wired funds from an audience of 33. I said, I don't want to do CT scans anymore. They give me radiation. She goes, yeah, but she goes, radiation poisoning takes 20 years and you're not going to live 20 years. DC, without a doubt, Marvel is for children. Marvel is Disneyland.
Today, I am joined by a dear friend of mine, OwenVideo. Owen, how are you today?
I'm so good, man. That was a great podcast intro. Today, I love it. You jump right in.
Dude, so good to see you. I wanted to chat with you today because in my experience with you throughout the years, with your clients and with your consulting business and seeing you as an MC at different events,
yeah,
I see you as a giant among men, one who just kind of walks around the rest of us like he's normal, but we all know that you're great. So I wanted to
thank you so much, bro. I don't even know that that's warranted. I have a similar respect for you. Like, you have built the thumbnail company that we have all needed. You've done such big work with such big people, and I'll tell you, like, for me, when I'm around you guys, when I'm around the video community, like, I feel like I'm amongst my peers and my colleagues, and we're like the Avengers, right? Like, everyone's got their own superpower. You know what I mean? It's like, this guy did this with a vegetable channel, and like that guy did this with like this tap shoe channel. And, I've done extremely well on YouTube in coaching companies to come onto YouTube. I've done very well with my own YouTube, and I've managed big YouTube channels. And so, like, I'm kind of one of these guys. It's like, maybe not like, I don't know that I'll ever be the guy with 3 million subscribers, right?
Sure.
But I've run strategy for the guy who's got 3 million subscribers. You know what I'm saying? Like, I helped the guy with 1 million subscribers make $1 million, and that's my key thing too, is like, we're really good at monetizing YouTube outside of like AdSense and sponsorships. We do that. Like, I'm big on I've done sponsorships for so long, but like, you should be building your own thing, man. If YouTube goes out tomorrow, like, you should have your own thing that your heart won't skip a beat. So anyway, I'm chatting. A lot of that's the coffee talking.
Well, so you bring up a great point when it comes to relying on AdSense revenue. That's what we did with Epic Toy Channel for years. And then COPPA happened, which came out of nowhere to us. I mean, I guess it had been in the works for years behind the scenes.
If you knew Disney Plus was launching, you saw this coming. Like, I had a feeling that Disney was going to somehow get involved with YouTube. I'm going to get conspiratorial.
Let's go. I'm here for it.
I believe that Disney was very much at the head of this, pushing this through their side organizations. And they're like, you don't get to market to kids. Only Disney gets to market to kids. And so someone at Disney shook hands with someone at YouTube. They introduced COPPA. They made everybody feel like criminals, like, overnight, like, you're targeting children. Right. And it's like, because that's what they wanted to do. It was devastating. So many of our friends who were there at the conferences, they were at Clamor Summit, like, and we slowly stopped seeing them.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned Disney, because when we hit 1 million subscribers on Epic Toy Channel, we were at Disneyland in California, and then that news came out while we're at Disneyland, and we're like, oh my gosh! And then we worked it for a while, and we still post videos every now and then, but
not worth it. AdSense never moves in the direction of the creator. In my mind, right? Like, even the newest sort of AdSense, it never does. Like, even like, remember when they came out, they're like, hey, from now on, we're gonna monetize your channel even though you don't qualify to receive monetization from it. So, and it's like, oh, I guess so. Like, you run the ads and make the platform possible, so you could just like work off my back for free. That was a change in ad. That didn't move in the way of the creator, right? And then even these more recent AdSense changes, like, where you basically have to put a red flashing sign on your video that says, this is an ad, right? Meanwhile, like, that's not what That's not what other brands have to do. Like it's again, it's not designed for the creator. It's designed for corporate interests. And so like we have to be building our own thing. And this challenges a lot of creators because the whole plan was, I want to be famous. The whole plan was like, I want a talk show. I want a TV show. I want to do my own thing and get millions of views. But it's like, man, guys, this idea that millions of views or millions of subscribers equates to millions of dollars is wrong. So many of us, like your AdSense will cover the cost of the video sometimes, hopefully.
Yeah.
But you can't build on that, you know?
No. Yeah. AdSense needs to be the icing on top, right?
Yes.
Don't rely on it. Thankfully, we had custom thumbnails that was rocking and rolling when all that happened, or we would have been really hurt.
But yes, but that's exactly my point, right? Like you developed a business out of your needs, right? And I've been talking about this with creators for a long time. You know, I got a lot of pushback from the audience, or the community is probably a better word at first, because it's not really my audience, right? Like, sure. I'm very close with Nick Nimmin and Dean Nimmin and Daniel Baton, the Tube Buddy family. Like I'm like integrated with the Tube. I'm on their advisory board, right? Like, and many others. And I would appear on their shows and on their channels and I'd talk about like, you guys got to have a business. Oh, they hated that. They're like, there was kind of this sense of, you know, this guy is like business guy, doesn't get us. He's creator. He's not a creator guy, but it's like, no, man, like I love creators so much. I think you should build a whole business around it. And YouTube's a part of that business.
Yes.
Right. But you built a company that thrives, like the gold miners, right? Like,
yes, I was going to bring this up. Yes.
You know, like, okay, so tell that story.
Well, if we're talking about the same thing, I was thinking about this when you were talking about your strategy, how you've helped the guy who has 1 million subscribers make $1 million.
Yes.
That's the idea with custom thumbnails is we're selling the shovels and the wheelbarrows for the gold miners who are mining for the gold.
Instead of digging for gold, we're going to go sell shovels to those who are digging for gold. We're going to open restaurants and feed the people. Yes. That's exactly right. Right. So it's like, what are you doing? Right. If you've got a channel that's for pets and pet lovers, right? Like, how can you create an offsite community product service that people will pay for, preferably on a recurring basis?
Right.
That'll offset and offset your money, and also scale potential, right? You know, what I do is not necessarily scale potential, right? Like we bring on clients for $20,000 at a time, right? Like that's our entry level clients. We do have a program for creators. It's $1,000 a year. So it's a little bit different. It's like a $97 a month program. Right. But keep in mind, that's also designed for a certain type of creator. It's designed more for like, you own a business and you want to create. So it's like that business owner thing is first, right? Because we really teach product sales and email opt-ins and like those tactical types of strategies.
Right.
That's scalable, but it wouldn't meet my income needs right now. Right. So we created a coaching program and we first went after, you know, it's like, who can we target? Who can we serve that has the type of money that we want to make doing this? Right. And so, you know, we had to figure out who that was. It was like creators at first. And then it was like, you know, I noticed that a lot of our creators actually have companies, they're coaches, or they're like, in fact, I started my business going door to door, knocking on business doors with a video camera. Right. And I was like,
no way.
Yeah. I was like, there was this map listing place that contracted with me. Right. So it was like, Google Maps wasn't a thing yet. It was called, I don't remember what it's called, but I'd knock on doors and I would say like, hey, that's like this new Google Map thing. Like your video will go next to your Google Map listing. And it did. So $20. So natural, like I started in the business community. So it was like, okay, but like learning who was really buying the product. I'm going to YouTube events, trying to sell creators. I was like, it doesn't really work, right? Like, but when I go to these business conferences, like that works better. So finding a good product that it was like fewer people. This is my point.
Yeah.
Fewer people, higher denomination, $20,000, right?
Right.
Now, if you're a company and you want to work with us, more like $35,000, right? Because it's like you got 7 people got to log into a call there, and that's I'm just giving you like rough numbers.
Sure.
But I need fewer of those,
right,
to live the kind of lifestyle I want to live, right? That worked for me. And there's some people out there, like, you got to think when you're monetizing your stuff, it's very easy to go, oh, $5 a month. I'm gonna do $5 a month so everyone can afford it, right? But then it's like now you got like 35 people paying $5 a month, man.
Right.
You're making $150 a month. Come on. Like, add value, man. Like, add for so many of you, it's going to be more like a $1,000 or a $5,000 type of thing that will just change. And you will find that 10 people will spend that with you easily.
So let's talk about miracles you've seen, because I hear all the time that YouTube is oversaturated, that the heyday is over. I disagree with that, but I've been hearing that since 2010 when I started.
Totally.
What miracles have you seen? I'll give you an example. I had a client a few years ago who relied on AdSense money and endorsements for his fish tank channel.
Yeah,
he
cool.
just filmed fish tanks, cool fish tanks, but just tanks of fish.
Was it like, hey, today I'm looking at this tank, or was it like 60 minutes of an aquarium?
Both.
No.
Yes, and he would live stream. He had all sorts of tanks, and he would live stream them.
Dude, I would put that as a screensaver. If I had guests over, that's the kind of thing I would put on my TV and like just loop. I love that kind of stuff. Anyway.
No, but it's crazy the kind of niches that people find and make a ton of money doing it. So just curious, in your experience, what miracles have you seen?
Yeah, I mean, so many. Let's talk about Johnny Walker. Johnny Walker is an endodontist, okay? Widely known on the East Coast, according to him, right? He's like, man, everybody knows me out here. There's only so many people that do what I do, right? So I don't even know that he has a home office. Maybe he does, but like he goes into that office to do a surgery, goes into that office to do a surgery.
Right.
So he's an endodontist, wants to teach other dentists how to invest in multifamily real estate, how to buy apartment buildings. Whoa. And I love that kind of thing, man, because that is so niche. Right. That it's like almost like being a part of a chess club or like I'm part of like an off-road kind of club. It's like that's a built-in audience. Like I think that the marketer thing is like, no way, man, that's too small. But in today's world of segmented reality, right? Like we spend so much time online that our offline time has become more valuable. Like we want to like interact with people.
Right.
There's been resurgence in bowling leagues, Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, churches. Like people want to communicate. So communities are actually getting stronger, right? And I believe what Elon Musk is building over at X is designed to accommodate that.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Twitter, I think, is going to be like Twitter's going to be kind of like how you interact in certain news feeds, I think. But like there's going to be more of a community thing going on there. Right. So when you're a part of those communities, like Johnny was, like he had this built-in audience. And so it's like, do we go after anyone who wants to invest in real estate? You can teach them. And he's like, no, I speak to dentists. He's like, that's the audience I know. That's the audience I want to speak to. So he starts making videos about dentists. Now, his videos do fine, right? I think that he recently crossed the 1,000 subscriber mark. And so that was really great to see. But here was what our model was like one video a week, one short per week, and a live stream at the end of every month. That was going to be our production cycle.
Okay.
His first cycle, 90 days, right? So we did that for 90 days. On the third live stream, he closed $1.2 million.
What?
In wired funds from an audience of 33.
What?
Yeah.
What? And it's a course he's selling? A course and consulting?
No, he actually presented an apartment building. He was like, okay, you guys have known me for 3 months. We've been exploring this property. Today's the day to put up or shut up, right? So, live stream number 1 was how to find a property. Look, I found one. We'll dissect this one next month. Next month, it's like, let's dissect this property. Month 3 was like, okay, today we're going to look at what it takes to buy this property, right? And 1.2 million that day, a total of 2 million by the time the property closed.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. Fantastic stuff, right?
That's
Fantastic
insane.
stuff. Now, we've got some stories as well on like views, right? And that's, how about Austin Armstrong? Austin Armstrong came into our workshop with already a great idea of how to do reels. He already came to us like, I'm doing them, I like them, I'm committed to it. But when he came to the workshop, he actually figured out how the YouTube algorithm works. So here's a great program for creators out there listening. Our monthly workshops are extremely valuable. And they're going to show you not just like the secret, I would say the secret to the algorithm, but like probably that thing you're missing. You see it, you know it internally, but that it's like you need someone to point it out to you almost. You're going to be like, oh my gosh.
Right.
How did I not see that before? And this is what my mentor, Daryl Eves, teaches, right? Daryl Eves is Mr. Beast's channel manager, executive producer of The Chosen, right? Like this is the guy trained me. I was in his mastermind for 2 years, like me and like 5 other guys, just like working with Daryl on a monthly basis. So you're going to see that in the workshop, but then you're also going to see like how to construct a video and like keep it all together.
Right.
So Austin Armstrong came to that workshop and he even challenged me. He's like, I can't see this working for me. He's like, it seems dull. It seems like it's going to get old. People aren't going to jive with it. I said, bro, follow it for 30 days. What do you got to lose? What do you got to lose? Okay. In that 30 days, one of his videos blew up overnight, like 500,000 in like 2 days. Eventually got to 1 million. We're all watching this thing blow up. But then, the chain link events. Yes. And these are all on websites. It's like top 5 websites that do this, top 5 websites that do that. Starts to trickle down. The guy hits 1 million subscribers, gold play button from the shorts that he's uploading. What? And there is no doubt about it. He wrote us an email. He wrote us a Facebook message. He's like, dude, thank you so much. He's like, I didn't believe you. And to this day, when I post about my workshops, he'll be like, hey, the workshops were like where it's at. So Austin Armstrong is like, man, and he's like a TikTok coach, coach who blew up on YouTube talking about like top 5 websites. And that's, if you look at that's all it is. So like miracles are happening every day. And it's like, are you willing?
Yes.
To follow the recipe to do it? Because I feel like a lot of creators are following like, I want to make a video about X, and that's their North Star. And like, that's maybe why things aren't hitting.
Yes. Hey, I vlogged on 2 different channels every day for 3 years. It didn't hit. And then, yeah, no, it's insane. And we started in 2010, got nowhere. And then you said, if you're willing to follow the recipe, you have to follow the recipe. Like just if you want to lose weight or add muscle, there's a recipe involved with this, kind of mimicking what other people do.
Totally.
Had success.
And what's working now, right? Like, I think that's a really strategic part of YouTube is looking at what's working. Like, what are you doing now? And like making a change. So it's like, okay, well, this has been working. And this is, you and I have been in this game for a long time, right? Like when we go to the conference, like how many people, I've been in YouTube for 13 years. It is all I've ever done professionally. The first thing I ever did was like, I mean, I had sales jobs and whatnot, like largely getting fired. I have been fired like 20. Yeah. From every type of job, man. Like I have been fired from restaurant jobs. I did a lot of restaurants for many, many years.
That's hilarious.
And I went into in-home sales. Can't really get fired from that. But it certainly was like they stopped calling me, right? I did radio. I got a corporate job. I got a kind of job I thought you need a degree for. but
Sure.
they didn't ask for a degree, right? Is at a Christian radio station. And at the time I wasn't even a Christian. Like, that's the crazy part, is like that God used that in my journey. Cause like, this music's pretty good. I like this song, you know what I mean? And like all this, I met my wife through that. So a whole bunch of stuff. Anyway, they fired me, man. They fired me, and I was the #1 salesperson in the company.
Oh, wow.
That's how much they're like, dude, just get out of here.
The money's not worth it, bro. Get out of here.
And then they took my billing. You know, they took all the sales, and it's like, now they just don't have to pay me the 40 grand a year or whatever low ball they were paying me. You know, good on them, right? It's like YouTube and AdSense. It's like, hey, we found a new way to make you feel good about us not paying you for playing ads in front of your videos, right? Like, so there's that. But that's when I was like, when I got fired from the radio station, I was like, it was 2008. YouTube, I think the #1 thing on YouTube was evolution of dance. Okay. I think, but I can't tell you if Vine was starting. No, it couldn't have been Vine yet, but Vine came a couple years later. But let me go with me on this one. I was already making skit videos and just showing them to family and friends. And I was like, you know what? I am going all in on YouTube, and I don't care. I remember packing up my desk at the radio station. I'm going on to YouTube, and I don't know what it's going to look like, but I'm never going to have a job again. And that's what I did. The first thing I did was like, I moved. It's like, I can no longer afford California. And this is where, so I took a small hiatus. I was like, I'm going to go live with my dad. And so I spent some time with my dad. I felt like a loser, man. I was like 29 years old. Felt like a loser. Like, so I go in my dad's house and I start making like these green screen sketch comedy videos in my basement. A couple of those go viral on this new YouTube thing. And that's where I had this thing like, wait a minute, I'll teach companies how to do this. And I'll make more money. And I made 6 figures my first year on YouTube. You know, now I've started so many channels too. Like I've had it, but when you know the process, like as we were talking about, is the recipe. When you kind of know the process, I started a marriage. I don't know if you knew this, marriage coaching channel with my wife that hit 3,000 subs, like off of 2 videos. I started an Amazon Alexa channel that hit 2,000 subs pretty quick into it. Yeah. I have a cancer channel at 2,000 subs. And this is in the past been my Achilles heel, as like, I have an idea and I start a channel. Right. And then I sort of abandon it. Right. So, and my main channel's got 60,000 subs. Like that's no small, a deal, but we've been able to grow what was 6 and then a 7-figure business largely from leads that we got from YouTube. I mean, period. Wow. And it's just like, we know how to do it. Like, you just got to do this. And that's what I see creators not doing, is like, they're vlogging every day for 365 days, finding something to do. And it's like, yeah, but is the marketplace even asking for that?
Right. Completely. Yeah. I've burned a lot of time doing that, but it was an educational process at the same time. I've always found content creation to kind of be recession proof, and that's always been in the back of my mind. Yeah, is the fact that a recession can hit at any time. But now my mind has shifted to AI. Everyone needs to find something that they can do to, one, utilize AI, but also AI proof their income. Yeah, it's really good. And that's the big thing right now too, right? Is AI. So like, being able to recognize trends, I think is a key skill. And every big growth that I've seen in my channel precedes a trend, right? So it's like, this is coming. Like we saw AI coming, and so it's like, okay, ChatGPT is getting big. I did this very targeted post on Facebook about ChatGPT. It was like this triumphant, Owen is stepping into ChatGPT. I'm pretty influential on Facebook, right? Like I have like a good, people are talking with me on Facebook. And so I'm like, I'm going to go all in on ChatGPT. I'm going to tell people they should get onto this. That's like a plant your flag in the ground, right? Some people, it's all this stuff.
So we made this post. It went viral for me. 500 email names.
Whoa.
And that was the post, was like, get my Chat GPT prompts, right? Like, this thing's going to blow up. And these prompts, like, I was like, these prompts are elementary, but they'll get you started, right?
Right.
So in 3 days, 500 leads from Facebook. Then we made a series of videos for YouTube that were on video related chat AI tools, right? Like, so we did one that was on like Chat GPT for Chrome. That one tanked. But we did YouTube, and we did another one on like social media images with Dustin Stout. Do you know Dustin Stout?
I don't.
Okay, so Dustin Stout owns a software called Magi, Magai,
Okay.
and anybody interested in AI tools like prompt creators, image creators, this is the software to use.
Magi. Okay.
Unbelievable, incredible. So I've known Dustin for years. He's developed other great softwares that we all know and love, but this is like, here he is in the second phase of his career, and he's like, he did it again. He made some amazing software. Now, I mentioned that because I did an interview with him on another software he did that didn't do very well at all. So we did a video on that. The video tanks.
Right.
And then Magi comes out, and I'm like, why didn't we do it? Why didn't you tell me you were building this? You know, this is like kind of a funny story. But we made 3 videos on AI prompt tools. The third one blew up. It's like 40,000 views. For us, that's huge for us, right?
Huge,
so
yeah.
So here's what happens. We generate the 500 leads from Facebook, and then we create a series for them on YouTube. And we're now emailing them this series, right? And it's this virtuous cycle. Yeah, but Owen, you said those 2 videos tanked. Yeah, they got their views, you know, a couple thousand views, but they didn't do like that's why we make 3. You make these videos in these segments that are preceding a trend, and your whole goal is to see one of them take off, right? And we've done that now. So it's like, okay, that took off. What's the follow-up for that? Now that we have that data set, videos on YouTube related AI tools do well. Images didn't do well. Chat GPT didn't do well. So now that kind of fulfills our content, right? So now we'll go into that. We'll make more videos off of video AI tools. And the objective is like, hey, these would perform at either a receding level or a better level. But we knew the trend was coming. We were able to grow our channel by a bunch, brought a whole bunch of new viewers to the channel. And now those people are getting to see my past videos and hopefully developing an affinity for me. So, you know, that's the thing is I see like every video you're doing is like on something different. And I don't see that you're following a thread. I don't see that you found gold somewhere. I don't see you've created affinity with your audience.
Right.
So that's kind of the first thing. And I think an email list is huge. Like, how could you not be generating an email list of people that like, hey, I really like your stuff, you know?
Yes, completely. Do you ever do text marketing?
I love text marketing. Text marketing is the new email. And I use, look, I want to say it's OwenVideo.com/go high level or OwenVideo.com/high level. Have you heard of high level?
I have not, no.
Okay. I love it. Like, I've used all of it, right? I've used MailChimp. I've used ClickFunnels, ActiveCampaign. Like, we're funnel masters. We've always been about like gathering an email list, right? And gathering names. Like, you do videos, you email them to your list. You do videos, you email them to your list, right? And in your emails, you're like, hey, get on my list, right? Download my guide, right? I even got like 1,000, 1,200 new leads. This is early on from a lead magnet I hadn't even made yet, right? I just said, it's coming, and if you want it, give me your name. And so it was 3 months before I delivered it. And when I delivered it, it was so good that the list came to life. It was just, we've been waiting for anyway. So you don't even need a lead magnet. You just need like the promise of a lead magnet.
Sure.
This is like, get my free guide or join my email newsletter, join my free community, whatever it is, you know, like, So I've always loved email marketing, and the results they're being diminished, right? Like it used to be, the model was like, get 100,000 person email list and then sell to them. Like that was the old model.
Yeah.
Amy Porterfield model, the David Siteman Garland, what I can't remember his name. Like they're James Wedmore, and I love James Wedmore, but like you know, huge lists conversion. Now it's like smaller lists, more engagement. Okay. So our click through, like our open rates on email are going up to like 40%.
Whoa.
Yeah, totally. But it's from fewer people. It's from 4,000 people instead of 40,000 people.
It's targeted. I mean, yeah, that's huge.
They are targeted there. So but there's an up and down.
Sure.
Text marketing changes that.
Okay.
Text marketing creates an open rate of closer to like 100%.
Oh,
you know,
God.
and so you're bypassing the subject line fiasco, right?
Oh,
because,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you first, like subject line has to get them to open. And I'll go beyond you, man. With email, it's like Google has to decide that your email is even going to get put in their inbox.
That's so true.
You know what I mean? And then it's 40% of the deliverables. So you're losing people. It's like total on your list, total do not subscribe, total delivered, total opened, total clicked, right? It's like all these steps where it's like on text, you could just say, hey, Jim, Owen here. Today's a great day to make the best YouTube video you've ever made. Let us know how we can help. Boom.
Killer.
You know, and you're just a part of their day. I don't need them to respond. Now, if I got a video worth coming out, like I'm not going to text you every video, but if I got a video I think you should see, I might be like, hey, Jim, sorry to bug. I've got a video that just came out. It's about X, Y, and Z. I wanted to share it with you, but thought I would ask first. Can I send you this video? And then you can auto do it, right? So they put yes, then, hey, appreciate that. Here's the link. Hope you enjoy. Boom. They send you the thing. They say no. It's like, hey, no problem. Glad I asked first.
Yes. Respect.
Right?
Yep.
Totally. And so, but now you got people that are asking for your video. They receive, like, it's so easy to set that up. That it's like, I can't imagine why everybody wouldn't be doing it. And I know I hear, so text messaging is key. And I hear, you know, a lot of creators, I know for me, I like to engage. Like I just did a bunch of shopping for my photos, my stock photos and stuff, like for my company. So we bought a bunch of stuff from like Macy's and Foot Locker, whatever. It's like, oh, do you want to be on our text list? Like, let us text you a receipt. You get 25% off. So I'm getting all these text messages, right? Dude, it's like, so Macy's bugs me. Okay. No problem. I just skip it. It's not a big deal. Right. Foot Locker hasn't texted me once. So maybe when I get it, I'll like it. I don't know. I'm not dying to unsubscribe. Right. Macy starts texting me every day. 40% off women, 60% off of boys. Clearly designed for moms, not for me, right? So this is designed for like, because it's like everybody. We got Oprah's, like we got clothes for men, we got clothes for boys, we got clothes for girls, we got perfumes. Let me know when suit coats are half off. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
So I go to Macy's, I go, stop, done. I'm off their list, right? So I feel like with the text message, it's yours to lose, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, you can easily connect them onto TikTok from their Instagram. So I think that everybody needs to be doing it. Like you as a creator, you have to build affinity with your audience to where like they want to take time out of their week and spend it with you, right? They're going to say like, I want to go hang out with Owen, not I'm going to go to YouTube, right? Yes. My kids, right? My kids say, we want to watch Mr. Beast. What they mean is we want to go to YouTube and watch Mr. Beast and Eric and Ryan Trahan. Like that's what they mean, but they say Mr. Beast. That's a brand right there.
Yeah. Well said. Where are you with TikTok?
I like TikTok. I'm going back on TikTok. So we were early successful on TikTok doing family skits, right? This is me. I create a different channel wherever I go, guys. Like TikTok comes out, I'm like, I think I'd like to dominate that channel. And so I dominate it. I make a bunch of YouTube videos on how to dominate it. And then, you know, and then like hopefully those videos do well. My TikTok videos did pretty well, but I was also going through cancer at that time. So you know, I received a stage 4 terminal cancer diagnosis almost 3 years ago was when I received the diagnosis. And when I got the diagnosis, our TikTok channel was at maybe 60,000.
Wow.
So as a core strategy for handling cancer, it was laughter, right? So it's like, we're going to make some TikTok videos. And we did. We got our channel to 250,000 subscribers. And then like, I just had to really get focused on healing, right? And getting better. And I did. And there's like a wonderful story there. But then China, right? Like, it's like China's showing their kids,
yes, science videos
and STEM videos, and they're showing us like worthless potato dances and like, and so we start to, and it's like the security issues, and look, the security issues on TikTok are real. Like they know deep stuff, right? And so then you know, I had to go through this process of like, so we took a year. We've decided to go back to TikTok, and here's why. Because TikTok is a great way to reach people with our message.
Yes.
And just because, look, China's going to do what China's going to do. Me not being on the platform does not at all serve my audience, right? And my message is not about like, ooh, hide from China, not at all. My message is about freedom through income growth. And so it's like, if I got to go into the matrix to pull people out of the matrix, like that's what I'll do, right? So we are starting to go back onto TikTok, and we're creating channels to target the types, 2 things: real estate agents. That's one of our core client bases, and 2 is wellness doctors, people that help people beat cancer, the people that helped me beat cancer, right? Like, we want to serve those people more. We already serve a ton of them. So we're creating TikTok channels to go after that. Are we going to do skits? I would love to do skits. You know, are we in that season? I mean, let's see. I'm not exactly sure, but because I do skits with my family, my kids and stuff, you know.
So fun. Yeah, I've seen a lot of them. They're hilarious. No, and I know multiple people who are consultants, coaches in various niches who are making 6+ figures a year just from their TikTok audience.
Yes.
Selling consulting, you know, by the hour packages, or it's insane.
That's why we're going back onto TikTok, because we feel strongly that there is a big audience there for us to serve. And look, at the end of the day, my business partner, Jesse Davis, do you know Jesse?
Yeah, I've met him at
You've met him?
Oh,
okay, yeah. Thailand. He American creator in Thailand with his wife and kids. He's sort of like the Dar man of Thailand.
Yes. They have a huge channel too.
A huge channel. I want to say 8 million, 9 million, but they have 2 gold play buttons, something like 4 silver play buttons. So he's sort of our content strategist, right? And he comes in and consults on us with content, but also he's created a course in our program on multi-platform strategies, how to get big on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook Watch, right? All these, by the way, are on our website at acceleratusmedia.com. You got to know how to spell Acceleratus Media. And that's how I can tell if somebody really wants to find our content, you know. It's like, but you know, you can search
as difficult as possible.
Yeah, it's like this is like the maze to get to me. So like, this is what he has said over and over again, is like, at the end of the day, you want eyeballs on your content. You want attention from the culture. And so, you know, the multi-platform creator is the process of the future, right? Like, we talked about trends and staying ahead of trends. You know, like, multi-platform is a trend, and YouTube really makes it easy, right? Because you can upload a video on YouTube, remix it. I don't know if you guys are using Remix. Remix has been a great tool for us.
Okay.
Remixing it, downloading the remix, putting it on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook.
Right.
So you can also be creating, and you should be creating, like, reels, like shorts specific content, but still uploading. So it tanked on YouTube, but went viral on TikTok. Like, oh, well, my channel, like, that's the old model of YouTube, right? I'm not saying that there's not value in that, right? Like, you don't want to release a #1 video and then a #7 video. Like, that's not positive, but like, you could always unlist the YouTube video and then still keep the TikTok video, right? Like multi-platform, I think, is the place that you need to be. Like everyone needs to be thinking is like, and what is your, like your, if you can, like we create trackers for our clients and we don't believe in being everywhere, right? We believe in picking your big three, right? So it's like YouTube, social, and lead gen is kind of like our thing, right? Like YouTube is where your Netflix. YouTube should definitely be where your heart and soul content goes. But then like you need to pick a social platform, you need to pick a business platform. So for us, it might be like YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook, right? Those are my big three. Like that's where I want to be involved. For other people, it might be like YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram, right? It might be YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. Instagram being like where you're hoping to convert or you know what I mean? But now you've got like, hey, you've got a strategy for it. And it's not like I'm just going to be everywhere. I feel like there should be a certain amount of exclusivity. There should be a certain amount of like, you won't find this anywhere else. And whatever you can do to facilitate that, I think is wise as a creator.
I wholeheartedly agree. Yeah. So cancer diagnosis, you said 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how you got well. And you shared quite a bit on Facebook over time. But what are some of the key elements behind your healing journey? Because this is something that we're all going to encounter in our lives. We buried my mom on her 61st birthday.
From cancer?
From cancer, yeah. So this is something that is going to touch all of us in some way, unfortunately.
If it hasn't already.
If it hasn't already. And yeah, just snapshot, you know.
Yeah, so I'd love to give you guys like a pre and a post, right? So what got me into cancer is how I got out of cancer. And I feel like this is the key, is that cancer is not a genetic disease. You did not get it from your grandmother. But my grandma had it, my dad had it. I get that. You had similar lifestyles, right? And your genes can be turned on and turned off. This is what we call epigenetics, right? So it's like, okay, so you have blue eyes, your genes decided that, right? But you have the chemical makeup for green eyes, maybe brown eyes. Like, why did blue eyes get turned on? Well, they were the dominant gene, perhaps. Okay, well, why, right? Maybe was there more blue-eyed members in your family tree, or is it because there are certain environmental factors like the sunlight that your families have lived in, right? Like, that affect what, ICLO will be best for you. So there's a lot of questions to be asked. Now, the medical system is based off this genetic model, and chemotherapy is a genetic, it targets genes, right? Specifically, fastly replicating genes, right? So chemotherapy is trimming the trees, right? But it's not pulling the bush out by the root, right? So in chemotherapy, 97% of all chemotherapy globally, from America to China to Europe, 97% failure rate. Cancer comes back, patient dies. 97% failure of chemotherapy globally. The US is the only country that's not approaching this. Europe is approaching this. China is approaching this. They're going, hey, this is not working. Our people are dying. And it's very, very interesting because I could go into like socialist models and like how like the workers are needed to work. So they're working to save our lives. But in America, it's like every man for himself, make what you can. Now, I'm not a Marxist. I'm like a red-blooded American. Like, I love my freedom. But I find that that's interesting that our country, like, we're aware of these stats. Like, that was an American study. You can look it up. Dr. Peter Glidden talks a lot about this. He's been canceled all over the place for talking about it.
Right. Sure.
If 97% of cases are failing, why? Okay, so let me start with that, right? Oh, and this is sounding so conspiratorial, but hang on. I am 100% cancer free without chemotherapy and without radiation. Okay, so that's key, right? So you asked me about my healing journey. I grew up. I grew up in a porn. Let's start from the beginning. Look, I grew up with very little attention paid to me, right? And because of that, I had a certain worldview. It's like, you got to work to be valuable. You got to work to be seen. So I had a workaholic lifestyle. I was a workaholic. I was not replenishing myself. I was like burning the candle at both ends, and then like going to the gym and going to church to maintain that I'm this good, balanced person, right? So it was no surprise when cancer erupted in my body, right? And I went through chemotherapy and I went through radiation, and I did all of those things that they told me to do. And 4 years later, the cancer came back. You can see it on my channel. If you go back on my channel these years and you see like Owen went bald and did this thing.
Yeah.
When it came back again, they told me it was terminal. They said, your cancer has come back. It is now resistant to the chemo. They said, we're not even going to try to give you chemo again because it's resistant to it.
Yeah.
And they gave me 2 years to live. They sent me home to get my affairs in order. And, you know, they offered me some counseling and grief management and all these kinds of things. So we went through that process, and there was a mourning and there was a weeping and a wailing time that happened. And we'll save that for a much heavier podcast. But, you know, at the end of the day, I felt the Lord say to me, you can do all things, right? You can do all things. So I was like, I can beat cancer. There are people, and it's like, there are people that beat cancer. I could beat cancer too. So I started to look it up, right? And it's like, hey, guess what causes cancer? People who were neglected, abused as children. Why? They tend to have negative self-talk, which leads to dangerous behaviors like suicidal thoughts, depression, drinking, drugs. I'm like, check, 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 you know? It also leads to overwork, burning the candle at both ends. It leads to putting other people's needs above your own needs. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm such a pleaser. So I started to undo all those things. I started to eat healthier, immediately switched to a plant-based diet. No more toxins in my diet, right? No more toxins, right? Like, am I anti-meat? No, man. But meat is full of cancer. If you're trying to grow muscle, meat's good for you. If you're trying to grow cancer, meat's good for you. Do not eat meat while you're on a cancering process. It will grow your tumors. There may be some exceptions to that. Some blood cancers and whatnot have shown some different things, but like I immediately began to undo the lifestyle and search more for like creating an environment in my body where cancer could not grow. So I'm doing like emotional work to change the self-talk, right? I'm valuable. I'm worth taking time off to recharge. I deserve to have all the clients in the world. Not like I deserve all the clients, but like I deserve it. I should dress like it. I should act like it. I'm worthy of it. There's no reason they couldn't do business with me, right? Like it's that type of thing. Began to fuel my body with environment, with only food that was toxic to cancer. So like, in the beginning, I went keto. I did keto vegan for 2 years and then switched to juicing. And there's a strategy there. It's like starve the tumors out, get them to stop growing. We did that. I did a 7-day fast at a fasting clinic in Ohio. It was like this incredible experience. Did that twice in the 2 years, did 2 7-day fasts. Tumors were unrecognizable. Doctor was like, just like, you went from full of cancer to like, maybe you have cancer, but there was still a maybe. And I needed to switch. I needed my body to push the tumors out. That's when I switched to juicing, right? I switched to detoxing, sauna every day. Green shake, dude. I was drinking like 60 ounces or more of straight carrot juice. That's 5 pounds of juiced carrots every day while building a business. And yeah, so I did that, and then I got another test. Went to a new doctor. By this time, I wasn't even seeing my on-call. There's a limit to what your hospital can do. Like they're not going to teach you this. Like you have to learn this stuff elsewhere. So I'm working with new doctors now. We're working with tests that don't put radiation in your body, like CT scans, just like fill you up with radiation. So it's like there's many people in cancer that got second cancers from. In fact, I told my doctor I don't want to do CT scans anymore because of all the excess radiation. Studies show that more than 2.5 CT scans per year increase your chance of a secondary cancer by like 80%.
Oh my gosh.
She says, this is what she says. I said, I don't want to do CT scans anymore. They give me radiation. She goes, yeah, but she goes, radiation poisoning takes 20 years and you're not going to live 20 years. When she said that to me, it was like, okay, so my doctor doesn't really believe I'm going to heal. Despite the fact that I'm doing great, bro. Like my color came back, my energy came back. Like I dropped like 50 pounds, gained 10 of it back, like looking really good. She sees my tumor shrinking. But then she's like, no, but you're still going to die. And that's the chemo belief, right? That's the chemo world, because in the chemo world, it always comes back and kills you, right? So that's what, so I go, I'm not going to see this doctor anymore. I get this new doctor. He's a holistic doctor. He's got a lot of cancer patients. Does this new test within 2 years, little bit more than 2 years, cancer-free diagnosis. No cancer detected in my body whatsoever. That was like 2 months ago.
Wow.
So, I'm eating more meat these days. I'm going to a Brazilian steakhouse tomorrow night, you know.
Yummy.
So, but I'm better. But I had to undo everything that I had done. Cause like do genetics play a role in cancer? Yeah. Your genes are there. Like the cancer genes, if they're active right now, they're active right now. But you can change your lifestyle to turn those genes off. And this is called epigenetics. There's a great book called by Dr. Ben Lynch called Dirty Genes. Read that book, you know, and you know, you learn why you learn about that stuff. So I had to go through a process of like learning about it and then actually doing it.
Well, and it's not just what you put in your body and your treatments, but you talked a lot about your mindset and giving yourself the rest. I remember when my mom was doing chemo, she would laugh at the snack tray they would hand out because it was Cheetos and donuts and chips
at the hospital.
And she's thinking, she was a smart lady. She's like, this is not what we should be eating right now. And it's funny because I've lived in the UK for 2.5 years. A lot of the crap that they handed her in the hospital, that stuff's illegal in Europe and the UK because of the red dyes and all the other crap.
This is what I mean when I say like, so the number one treatment for cancer in the UK right now is mistletoe extract. And the scientific name, I want to say it's, I don't know. I have it. I actually did mistletoe injections, and one of my favorite doctors, Dr. Nasha Winters, also cancer survivor, 20-year survivor. She just wrote a book on mistletoe and mistletoe. It's incredible, bro. And it's different strands of mistletoe. And like when you mix this mistletoe with that mistletoe, it's really incredible. So that's the number one. Now it's interesting. Why is that? Well, number one is most chemo comes from the US. So the UK has to pay like import and all this different stuff. Mistletoe's cheaper. So again, socialist mindset, like, you know, cheaper is good for the people, you know, but there's also like, we don't want all the people to die.
We don't want the people to die.
Yes. So, and in America, in America, it feels like there's an overpopulation agenda that they're just kind of like, yeah. It's what it feels like. I'm not going to go that far, but like, because it's like you guys know everyone's dying, right? Like walk into a chemotherapy infusion center. Everyone's dying, right? They look like death. But when you go into these alternative clinics, right? Everyone is alive and they've been doing well for a while. And it's like, okay, well, they've only survived for 7 months. It's like, yeah, but they're also playing tennis. They're not at the hospital 8 hours on a Friday getting like chemicals injected. Like the lifestyle's better. they told me that they could give me a chemo for my side effects, because I definitely had symptoms, right? There was a reason I went to the hospital. And I had what's called myasthenia gravis, right? So like my upper nerves, it's terrifying, bro. Like I was twisting a door, I was unscrewing a doorknob, and my whole body just like collapsed. Like I couldn't do anything. And so I'm like, when is this going to pass? Like if a dog attacked my daughter right now, or some stranger came to the door, like, you know, you're in this very vulnerable position. So like, oh, well, we give you chemotherapy for that. And so now I'm in this chemotherapy chair for like driving 45 minutes to the hospital. It's like, this is not the life I want to live. I'm like, if I only got 2 years left, then I'm going to show my kids what it means to go down kicking and fighting. I'm going to show them what it means. They're going to say, my dad fought for me, right? The vision of just plugging into a chemotherapy thing didn't feel like fighting. It felt like quitting. And I that's me. And I think that some people feel like it is fighting, but like, I'm telling you, the future of cancer is in turning your body on. It's getting rid of the crap and letting your body do what it does. It will recognize cancer. When you get to a healthy enough place, your body will recognize cancer as a foreign invader. And when that happens, your body fights it off. And it's revolutionary, but it's like our ancestors knew it. We just have to kind of like get back to that a little bit.
I wholeheartedly agree. And you mentioned socialism, and I like you, I'm a red-blooded American, but you know,
happy shiny YouTube interview talking about socialism.
Yeah, well, you know, but also there's socialist things that we all accept in America, like fire department, police department, the highway people that fix the roads. Like, that's kind of socialist, but I'm okay with it. And I wish that our healthcare system would kind of make a pivot to actually care about people and not just the money.
It's the allopathic model, right? Like there are some services, like when I think of the government's role, I think of fire departments, I think of roads, and whether it's socialist or the balance of powers, right, is like government does this, government doesn't do all these things, right? I don't know that government involvement is the problem as much as it is the allopathic model, right? So there's allopathic and naturopathic. Yes. Allopathic is the solution comes from outside. So a pill, a drug, a thing, and it's a masking of symptoms, right? So the allopathic model is if you don't have symptoms, you're not sick.
Sure.
The naturopathic, also called the Ayurvedic model, right? Like this is like the cycle of healing, right? So your body goes through these different levels of inflammation, and various diseases are associated with different levels of inflammation, cancer being the last, right? So after cancer, like, it doesn't get any more inflamed than that, right? And so reversing it comes from removing the obstacle. This is chiropractic, right? Chiropractic is a naturopathic model. It's BJ Palmer, who founded chiropractic, is like, his quote is, the body needs no help, just no interference, right? So it's remove the obstruction, let the water flow. His whole thing was get your spinal column tells your body what to do. I think that's important. But I also think that, like, if you get a diagnosis and you do the Eeyore thing, that's like, well, that's it for me. I've had a good run. You know, if you do that, I think your chances of survival are very, very low.
Sure.
In fact, my first rule of surviving cancer is you have to believe that you were meant to survive this, that it was written in the book of time before, whatever, fate, whatever. It was written in the book of time that, like, you were to get this, to conquer it and show everybody. Like, that's your starting belief. My starting belief, Justin, was that this was God's way of showing me I was worthless. This was God's way of laughing at me and taunting me for one last time. Dude, and I was a mature Christian believer at this time, but I got so depressed when I got my diagnosis. I was like, everything I knew, it was like out the window, and it was just like, felt sorry for myself, and just, that's it. That's my life, just to die here so my wife can remarry, some other look. All of that was faulty thinking. What I really learned was like, God was like, look, you got yourself into this mess, first of all, right? Like you were the one doing this, and this, but I'm going to show you how to get out. Right.
And you said you had the sense that all things are possible in God.
Yes. Yes. And that, and again, there's this belief that like, I was made to conquer this. Like I developed a worldview that was like, your kids are going to watch you do this. Your YouTube audience is going to watch you do this. Your Facebook audience is going to watch you do this. And they're going to believe that it's possible for them too. And I got to tell you, man, like it's not a part-time business, but it could be. If I were to start cancer coaching, my DMs already get loaded every day with people. My uncle this, my cousin that.
Right.
And so I become this de facto, here's what I did. I wrote some blogs on it, beatcancerwithme.com. I do upload videos from time to time on this. It's a passion for me.
Yeah.
Cancer can be beaten at any age and any stage. And I believe that chemotherapy can play a role. I hate to admit it. Like I hate to admit it that there can be a role for chemo, as you know, in some certain situation, but it's usually anyway, it's a thing that I do and is a big part of who I am. And I'm excited to begin like again, like I feel like here I am, I'm in my 40s, my early 40s, and I'm like, I get a whole new chance to do life with this renewed sense of vigor and excitement. And so I want to live every day to the fullest. I have a clear vision of my mission and my purpose in life. And YouTube's a part of that, but it's more about like the people I'm going to meet through it and inspiring and motivating and encouraging them. Like that's really what I want to do. So I'm excited to be able to do that.
I see the fire in your eyes as you say, and it's contagious. That energy is so contagious. Quick lightning round, and then I'll let you go. Okay.
Good. Well, not good that you're letting me go, but like, great. Good.
Thank goodness. Get me out of here. What's one book that you would recommend everyone read?
Traction by Gino Wakefield, maybe something like that. Gino. Traction is great foundation. You're not going to need it all, but Traction is a book you should have on your, it should always be available as a physical book I have it on audio as well.
Right.
Incredible book. Yeah. And how to like structure and grow a business.
Ooh, love it. Okay. Who was the best Batman?
Christian Bale.
Correct answer.
Yes. You know, and I think it has to go with Christopher Nolan too. Like
Fair.
I love Michael Keaton, and I love that Michael Keaton was willing to take the role. So there's a lot there, but like just the new ones were excellent.
Totally agree. And that is the only correct answer. Would you rather talk to animals, have the ability to literally speak to all animals, or know how to speak every language on Earth?
Every language on Earth, even two, man. Give me two. Like I love about my dog that I don't know what he's thinking. That I get to like dog. I'd be like, "You're so happy. You're such a happy dog." And inside, he's like, I don't know, maybe wrestling emotionally with something. I have no idea.
Or when he goes outside to use the restroom and he just stares at you, it's like, what are you thinking? I'd rather not
watching me the whole time. It's like, yes, you know, exactly.
Three more. What's your favorite meal?
Favorite meal, man.
Your birthday?
Right now, my favorite meal is butternut squash cooked like a steak.
Okay.
With maybe like a side of steamed vegetables. That is lighting my fire right now.
Oh, I love it.
So absolutely. Yeah, I love plant-based eating.
I love it. DC or Marvel?
DC, without a doubt. Marvel is for children. Marvel is Disneyland for like, I can't believe there are grown men adults that like go to Marvel movies. These are, to me, they are such Disneyland cotton candy corporate crap. Where like DC gave us the new Batman.
Yes.
Even Superman was dark, right? Like there's a reality to DC, right? Where Marvel's like shticks, like look, it's Stan Lee again. Like give me, you know.
Oh, that's hilarious. Final question: what is your least favorite word?
Oh, my least favorite word.
I think mine's moist. I don't like moist.
Anything related to the bathroom. Anytime somebody starts talking about like what they did in the bathroom, I'm like, what are we in third grade here? Like, I actually started challenging my friendships. I'm like, this guy is talking to me about noises he was making this morning. And I'm like, how did I get into this group? I have to stop bowling. It's like, I got to find a new church. No, I'm kidding. You know what I mean? But it's like, it's the kids. It's like, as soon as that like potty talk starts coming in, cause I'm a dad, it's like the whole car goes and I'm just like, what happened to my life? I'm intellectual, so.
That's so funny. Owen, it's always a pleasure, man. Thank you for hanging out with me today. I had a blast.
I hope we air the whole thing. This is a long interview. It was good.
Yeah, it's so fun. So fun.
Hey, buddy. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. Take care.
All right, bro. Talk soon.
Hey, buddy.